Now, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with bodies. We haven't even scratched the surface yet, but I'm going to go ahead and stop playing with bodies here, and let's play with a little bit of forms, and then we're going to get into the really heavy lift, or the sketching, which is a really cool part. But now that we've modeled some stuff, let's keep modeling, and let's go here to create form. And now that we're in form creation mode, this is more of like a, if you're familiar with like box modeling and sub-D modeling and NURBS modeling, this is where we get into T-spline bodies and forms. So we have another create menu here. Just to keep it simple and similar, I'm going to go ahead and choose box. And with box form creator, you're going to see we have a kind of an outline view of our bodies here. And it looks like those kind of stay there. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on this bottom work plane here and just choose that one. And did it choose the wrong work plane? Yes, it did. So let's go ahead and do cancel, and I'll recreate the box, and we'll choose the bottom work plane here. So we've chosen that bottom work plane here, and I'm just going to create a box over here. So I'm going to click, and it's going to go center out. You can actually change that to do 2-point, and then you can click on one side and click on the other, like we kind of created the other box. And once we've done that, we've got a form here. So just like the other box, there's a couple of different options. You can go out in any direction. And if you click these inner arrows, you can actually add more divisions in here. As I add those divisions, you're going to see that width faces and height faces update on here. You can also do symmetry. You can do direction. We'll get a little bit more into that when we get into sketching. So we'll just go ahead and hit OK. So we've got a form here. So what is a form? A form, if you go here to your bodies, you're going to see we have a form body. And because we're in sculpting modes, you're going to see it change from model to sculpting. That just means while we're in form sculpting mode, you can do a lot of box model-y type stuff and creasing and extruding faces and inserting edge loops. Once we leave this, it's going to turn it into a solid body, which means we can slice it, we can chamfer it, we can fillet it, we can poke holes in it, all this cool stuff. So those are the two differences. You've got the T-spline modeling, which is like sub-D modeling, and then once you're out of form, you click finish form, then it turns into what we were doing previously, which was like the hard edge machining of the object. So let's talk a little bit about forms, and by a little bit I do mean a little bit. This is a quick start guide, so I'm not going to get too heavy into everything you can do with forms because there's a lot of stuff. But some of the basics: if you click a face and you right click, you can go edit form. You can go ahead and edit that face, so you can just click move here, and just like the other move options, if we click the left orthographic here, you can click this one here and that'll move it along this plane, and you can click this one and this will scale it along that direction, scale it along this direction, and so it's a little bit freer than when you were dealing with bodies. You actually get to be able to scale as well as move, as well as rotate if you'd like. If you want to add a face, let's go ahead and click OK. So if you go over here to create, you're going to see there's an extrude option, so we can click extrude, and because we had a face selected, that will allow us to go ahead and extrude that face. Now you're going to see as I extruded that face, it went ahead and kept the original face here, and it kind of smoothly interpolated between those two original faces. If I hold down Alt and click this up arrow, that'll it doesn't extrude another face. Hit OK. Let's go ahead and click this. We'll do edit form, and if I hold down Alt and click up arrow, okay, that's when it adds a face. So you can kind of see it's kind of like sub-D modeling. I'm basically extruding this face. If I hold down Alt and click again, it'll go ahead and extrude another one. And if you want to see the actual box modeling you're doing, if you hit Alt and then tap 1, that'll go into kind of just the low poly quote unquote version of this model. So if I hold down Alt and then pull up, you're going to see, let's go ahead and click OK, right click, edit form, and then hold down Alt, and as I drag up, it's adding more lines. Now if I hit Alt 3, that'll go back into smooth shaded mode, and you can see exactly how it's changing our object here. So a couple more things you can do is, well, there's actually a lot of hotkeys you can do while you're playing with forms. So if you want to do a loop selection, you can double click an edge loop, or you can click a face and then shift click another face, and then it'll select the whole edge ring. So very similar to actually selections in Maya, as it turns out. You can also do Alt P to select a loop, I believe. So we'll do Alt P and that'll select a loop. So there's a lot of different hotkeys. You can look those up for ring selection, loop selection, and stuff for while you're playing with forms. Now another thing you can do with forms is we go over to modify. You can go down here to crease, and we're actually going to hop into ZBrush later on and bring in our own box modeled forms, because and there's nothing wrong with form modeling. I absolutely do form modeling or T-spline modeling in Fusion 3.6, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're more comfortable, or you're faster, or there's some tricky things that you need to do outside of Fusion, you can absolutely go and box model to your heart's content with a few caveats. Bring that in, convert it to a T-spline body, then you can convert that to a solid body, and then go ahead and do all the hard edge machinery stuff you want to do. So we'll get into that later. But for now, we're going to crease. So I'm going to go over here, and if I click this top edge here, we can crease that edge. I'm just going to keep clicking around here, and I think if I double click, it might select. Well, it doesn't seem it wants to select that whole thing. But we go ahead and crease all of these edges here and click OK. And you can go through and crease any other edges that you want to. If you double click this one, I believe. Let's go ahead and double click all the way around our object here. Holding down Shift and double clicking, and then if I go in here to modify crease, it should go ahead and crease all those edges for us. So that's pretty cool. And once you're done form modeling, I'm going to go ahead and click Finish Form. And what that's going to do is, if we go over here to our bodies area, we have a box, then we have our cylinder, and now we've got body 3. And this is our form body. So if I double click body 3, we're going to name this weird form. And now what we can do, now that it's a body, I can actually go up here to the top, and if I want to, I can go over here to modify, and let's go ahead and do another hole. Actually, I'm going to hit H to go hole. I'm going to click, I want a hole along this face here. It doesn't really have a center point, so I can go just kind of guess where that will be. And I'm going to pull down. That'll poke a hole through there through that form, and you can change the radius here. Click OK. And now if I want to, I can hit F to fill it, and I can go ahead and fill it these two here. Shift click to select both of them. Go ahead and fill out those edges. So this is all the solid body stuff you're able to do to this form as well. Now, if I decide, you know what, I don't really like that form, I don't need it, there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can go over here to Weird Form, right-click it, and choose Delete or Remove. Now, if you delete it, it's going to remove it from your history completely. So if we go ahead and delete it, it'll say, hey, if you delete this, these two things you've done after that delete are going to have a problem. So if you click that Cancel and then you do Remove, it'll go ahead and keep that form in your history. So if you ever want to roll back and modify this form and bring it back and unremove it, you can have that option available to you. Or what you can do is roll your history back and then right click and do delete all features after the history marker, and that'll delete everything about that form that we had created.